Sem 3 and the title of the paper in semester 3 is nothing but statistical methods. Like your previous semesters, this paper also consists of 4 units. The first just take out your syllabus paper where it consists of 4 units. First one consists of bivariate data, curve fitting, correlation, regression, and second unit consists of partial and multiple correlation coefficients and analysis of qualitative data, which is also called theory of attributes. In the third unit, we are going to have the 3 sampling distributions called chi-square, T, F. In the fourth unit, we are going to discuss the theory of estimation. So, in the first unit, we are going to deal the topics called principle of least squares, fitting of various curves, correlation, regression. In unit 2, partial multiple correlation, theory of attributes. Unit 3 consists of 3 distributions called chi-square, T, F. In unit 4, we are going to deal with theory of estimation. So, in the previous semester, we have read various distribution. Just try to understand one point that for this semester second year papers are called the statistical inference methods. First year paper we are calling as descriptive, first semester paper descriptive statistics, second semester probability distributions, and third one is statistical methods. These 3 papers are no way linked, and means in the second semester you have read all the discrete and continuous distributions with their respective properties. Here we are not at all going to read such type of concepts. These are quite different from the your SEM 2 paper. So if let us the unit 1 and is nowhere related to unit 2, unit 2 is nowhere related to unit 3, and similarly unit 3 and 4. So these 4 are 4 independent units. So you cannot likewise your previous semesters, first unit is not there, first unit is related to second to third. Here there is no dependency among these 4 units. So if you come to the unit 1, where you have principle of least squares and fitting of various curves. These 2 is one topic, correlation is another one, regression, whereas these 2 are related topics. Okay, these 2 are dependent on each other. So if you come to unit 2, you have partial and multiple correlation, where there is a little bit only the first line of unit 2 is related to the unit 1, and the other one is nothing but rest of the unit 2 is no way related to any other topics in your syllabus. Coming to unit 3, you have 3 sampling distributions called chi-square, T, F. So what are the different distributions you have read in semester 2? You have read discrete distributions and continuous distributions. What are the properties you have read? Like deriving MGF, deriving moments, where you are deriving. To obtain the properties, you should go to the mathematical part. Unless you simplify, you are not going to get the mean of binomial distribution. Whereas here also you are going to read these 3 distributions, but we are not at all touching the derivation part. Just simply we will write the mean of chi-square distribution is, the variance of this distribution is, and mode of chi-square. Similarly, what are the mean, median, mode, beta 1, beta 2 of T? Mean, median, mode, and beta 1, beta 2 and gamma 1, gamma 2. And the properties of applications of chi-square, applications of T, applications of F. Means in the previous semester you have derived all the properties, but here you are not going to derive the properties. Simply those will be given to you. Means those properties, the expressions will be directly given to you. Just you need to read and write, no need to derive. This unit 3 is very easy one. So the fourth unit consists of theory of estimation, where you have the 4 different topics to consider. Let us discuss when the time comes. Now let us focus on unit 1. So just look into the unit 1. What are the topics you have? What is the first one you have? Bivariate data. What is the first topic of unit 1 or first line of unit 1 is nothing but bivariate data, scatter diagram, principles of least squares, and fitting of straight line, quadratic power curve. Now I think you have discussed the distributions in semester 2, where all those are univariate or bivariate. I think x follows b and p you are writing. How many variables are there? You have only one variable. All those are nothing but univariate data or univariate distributions. Whatever you have discussed in the previous semesters are all nothing but univariate, where the distribution or the data is related to only one variable. Now from here, from semester 2 onwards, from second year onwards, under statistics, you are going to one more next step in statistics, which is nothing but bivariate data. What do I mean by bivariate data? As the name itself suggests that instead of uni means one variable, here the two you are going to consider two variables. This is the data form you are going to have, where in the previous semesters x and f are given to you, where x is the variable, we are calling x is the variable under study, and f is its frequency. This is not the separate variable. So the number of variables is here only one. We are calling that as univariate data or univariate distributions. From here onwards we are going to focus on bivariate data. Means the data involves two variables. Let the two variables be x comma y. So whenever we are considering bivariate data, always we are going to have paired observations. Let us see what do you mean by paired observations. What do you mean by pairing? If you have an observation or a value on x, you will find the corresponding value on y also. If there are, how many values are given on x? You are given with 4 values on x. If you have the same 4 values on y, means each observation is paired. A observation on x is paired with corresponding observation on y. So this data we call as paired data, or bivariate means you will have two variables and all the observations are paired together. So here onwards, either you study the principle of least squares or correlation or regression or any other topics in the first and second units, you are going to consider only bivariate data. A bivariate data is nothing but data which involves two variables and the observations are paired together. P-A-I-R-E-D. Pairing means equal number of observations on both the variables. If there are 10 observations on x, you will have 10 observations on y. So we call these as pairing of observations. Okay. Now let us next topic you should consider is nothing but curve fitting. So whatever you have, like principle of least squares, fitting of straight line, quadratic and power curves, all those comes under the heading called curve fitting. So under these the topics are nothing but principle of least squares, fitting of various curves. These two together comes under a topic called curve fitting. So whenever you are given a bivariate data, so just first try to understand the concept, then you can follow the notes whichever I will post in the group. Now let us see what is a curve fitting. Name itself tells that whenever you are given a bivariate data, So always those when you represent on the graph, okay, they may represent a straight line. Okay, if we take one of the variable on x and one of the variable on y. So if you plot the data on the graph, some data may represent a straight line, some data may represent a parabola or some other non-linear form. Curve fitting means whenever a numerical data is given to you, okay, whatever data it may be, whenever you find some bivariate data, always that represents a curve to it. That curve may be a linear curve or non-linear curve. What do you mean by linear? Linear means it may be a straight line. Non-linear means it may be a quadratic or power or exponential curve or exponential.